All right, we're going live in three, two, one. All right, I think we're live. All right, so I think tonight's big divisional matchup, and I think we're all excited to see this. I say that we expect it to be an offensive showdown, but after last night's game, I'm not sure I can trust my gut anymore, thinking that
No,
Buccaneers are going to come out there and stomp the Patriots. But we shall see.
I, I always love to throw this variable out there, but the weather last night in Foxborough, I'm going to pretend that had a big impact. And in a dome stadium with favorable conditions, I think we're going to see both quarterbacks just feeling real
I'd
pretty
be
comfortable.
definitely surprised if
California
there's
weather.
not more offense.
All right, I'm excited to definitely excited to watch these two teams go at it. I'm hoping to see quite a few touchdowns and hopefully it comes down to the wire, I think. And isn't this the Raiders' second Monday night game already this year?
Yeah, they opened the week one opener, so this is
You know, all the primetime games.
Fun fact, I believe I read that the Raiders are either like 8-2 or 7-1. Maybe it must be 8-2 in their last 10 Monday Night Football matchups against the spread. I think when the spread is less than 8.
This is what the line was tonight. Then it
I think another interesting comment is Jack. You brought up the weather last night. Now the game's delayed because of lightning. I'm reading.
Yeah, I see that right there. That's intriguing.
You think that's a joke though? Because the Chargers are playing.
I mean, their logo's a lightning.
Oh yeah, that's definitely some lightning.
That is lightning. Wow. So is this not like
this California smog?
Well, let's see if my stream is equally behind. Yep. Oh wow, that is lightning. Those are chargers. Those are charged bolts.
So it is a roof stadium, but like the roof is like a kind of like a glass. So that's I could see why lightning might be an issue.
Yeah, I think it obviously presents, vision issues if you're having flashes of lightning go on during play.
Yeah.
Is that actually not they're more scared of the glass shattering?
No, that wouldn't shatter.
Nah, it's high grade.
I mean, they had the Astrodome.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked, honestly. I guess I don't really know how it would look. I've never played under a lightning storm.
Do you want the exact trends? Because the trends, by the way, are interesting for the bets.
Sure.
It's courtesy of Mike Salfino of The Athletic, who put these together. So if you are subscribed to The Athletic, if you're not subscribed to The Athletic, highly recommended.
Worth it.
Great
Very
reading.
worth it.
The Raiders are 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 Monday Night Football games, and 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games against the Chargers, when they are spread underdogs by less than +8. However, the Chargers are 10-1 against the spread in their last 11 games against the AFC West, when they outscored their opponents by less than 10 points in the last game. So, just some interesting things.
So someone's hot streak's going to be broken, I guess.
I wonder how they like figure that out. Like 10-1 when they like win their last game by 10 or less. Like I wonder what like leads you to figuring out that kind of trend.
It requires AI and
probably, yeah.
Trend searching, different things
yeah.
like that. Stuff that like Amazon Web Services does. I'll be honest. Speaking of Raiders, last night I got pretty bored during the Patriots game, so I watched a bunch of old NFL and I should say AFL highlights. I was watching, the '68 AFL Championship game against Jets Raiders. I watched NBC's Game of the Week coverage of playoffs, Raiders versus Steelers, otherwise known as the Immaculate Reception. I didn't
Great
realize
game.
that in that game, the final score was like 10 or
Oh,
9 to 7.
it was so low. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That
insane.
the Immaculate Reception itself like accounted for like half of the Steelers' points.
Yeah. Was watching some just random random NFL highlights, and I mean it's kind of cool to see those because you think about it, and it's like nowadays like they protect the players so much more nowadays between the equipment, the rules, and even watching them tackle each other on bare ground turf.
Yeah, it was a different game back. I'll every so often watch old Steelers highlights and just watching Mel Blunt just tackle corners in the middle of their routes and watch like Jack Lambert just crash someone down and like pull him down by the neck. Different ball game back then.
But then you got like Antonio Brown not willing to change helmets. What was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Hey man,
Hey, look, you got to go with what works.
That helmet got him so far. I mean, I don't blame him.
Do you guys remember what happened with that? Did the Raiders have to pay his salary that year, or did it all just get voided? Or
Google search time.
I think they had to pay the salary that year because he got released and didn't get claimed on waivers. So, like so the Patriots picked him up on like a real minor deal and like cut him 2 weeks later. But he was still getting paid from the
Raiders.
Like his old Steelers and Raiders contract. Yeah.
I think though that he still is owed $30 million from the Raiders of guaranteed money.
Actually,
I think that he filed a grievance.
Oh yeah, you might be right. I think they tried to like. I mean, I don't know. This isn't the right term, but like cut him with cause or like get out of the deal or wherever.
Yeah,
I
they cited.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
wow.
I don't know what became of that actually.
What's it called? Watching that on Hard Knocks, and he just looked like an idiot.
That dude did not. He wanted nothing to do with that place. He wanted out of there.
And what was the deal? Did he get traded there?
Yeah, he got traded. So what happened was it was first reported that he was getting traded to Buffalo, but that deal like fell through for some reason. And then like a couple weeks later, he got traded to the Raiders, and it was for like a third and a fifth, I think. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he didn't even play a game for them. They caught him for conduct detrimental to the team or whatever. And yeah, he tried to go play with Brady. Bill was having none of it, and then he ended up playing with Brady in Tampa instead.
Wasn't that the issue?
What's up?
Wasn't it like a sexual harassment?
Yeah, there was like.
Well, that happened like at some point in the middle of all that, didn't it?
I think, yeah. And like I don't know if that ever got resolved because I feel like it was always like, oh, teams are waiting to see like what happens here, but then I feel like Tampa signed him even with that still kind of pending.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. Von Miller was supposed to not even play this season for like domestic violence, and then he's been playing all season.
I think the girl retracted the case or whatever on that one because I remember seeing that too, but I know it like very quickly didn't lead anywhere.
Just as a quick aside, I'm looking at the National Weather Service radar for Inglewood, and it appears that in some point in the next, like, I'd say 20 minutes, they should be able to get this thing kicked off.
Yeah, it says on ESPN game schedule to start at
8:55.
8:55.
All right, maybe we'll cut this stream after a quarter then.
I mean, yeah, but one guy before we get to that, one guy I wanted to highlight right now who they have on the screen below Booger McFarland and Adam Schefter, at least for me, because you know how delayed my stream is the NFL's second best Max with 2 X's, Max Crosby this year.
Mad Max.
What, behind Max Williams?
Yeah, hey, look, since you brought the name up, I've always been high on Max Williams since he came out of the U, the
I
real
thought he was gonna be
U,
really good.
the
Yeah,
University of Minnesota, and this might be one of his
go
best
Gophers.
seasons in a while. I mean, in his career, he has 980 reception yards, and 179 of them are from this year.
Yeah, he got drafted back in like 2016 or something like that.
Second-round pick.
Yeah, I
For
thought
the
he was.
University of
I remember
Minnesota.
liking him as a prospect. I thought he was going to be really good for Baltimore, but it just
I mean,
doesn't work out.
and you got Mark Andrews. I mean,
And Andrews was
But
drafted
they drafted.
first.
Yeah, they drafted Hayden Hurst, and then they doubled down and drafted another tight end, Andrews, and well, who he ended up being the better one.
Yeah,
Is
isn't that
Hayden
fun?
Hurst still in Atlanta? I think he is.
It's like when the Redskins, they drafted RG3, and then what, they draft Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins in like round 4 or 5. Yeah,
RG3 looked promising, and then obviously he got hurt a lot.
exactly. Yeah, Hurst is still in Atlanta.
Managing him is a different story. But then, yeah, I mean, Kirk overall ended up being the better quarterback, grand scheme. Double down. I remember a lot in this in the preseason. The Raiders, they got Henry Ruggs, and then they got Brian Edwards. And Ruggs definitely is getting big plays every week.
Yeah, Ruggs is your big play guy. Edwards is
more very highly of Brian Edwards though, and a lot of people thought.
They've been targeting him more and more each week. Yeah, they seem to like him a lot. And speaking of big plays, watch the poor Steelers get burnt
right now. I guess it's more Derek Carr, but
Derek Carr. Well, as we wait for this game to start, which games did you guys have your eye on in the kind of the Sunday slate?
this previous Sunday or this upcoming Sunday?
Nah, this previous Sunday.
I think some of the big ones. Well, I think there are a lot of good games. I think you definitely talked about both New York teams going to overtime. That's pretty exciting. And I guess we can focus on the Saints Giants first, maybe.
We can start there.
Yeah, I watched that whole game.
They're on the board in the win column.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants looks good still.
What was weird about that game was that it looked like the Saints were in control for like 90% of the game, and then they just kind of let the Giants. They let the Giants hang in there, and I don't think. I mean, between the two quarterbacks on the Saints, I thought Taysom Hill was the most effective quarterback they had.
Definitely in the red zone.
Yeah, obviously in the red zone. I mean, it's hard when. To me, it's just I don't know if Jameis is really. I think we blew him out of proportion after that first week win.
Yeah, that game, especially considering where the Packers are now, very misleading. But
he didn't play bad.
I think they have a good thing going. Like, I don't think Jameis can like really win you a whole lot of games on his own right now. But I also am not sure if you could really kind of keep Taysom in to throw the ball 25 times a game.
No,
so I think
no, absolutely not.
I think they're figuring out a good balance right now, and I kind of expect to see more of that as the season goes on. Because you get down to the red zone, and like you saw the play. I don't know if you guys saw it, but like his touchdown run in that game. He went Marshawn Lynch and took down every defender.
He went beast mode. I mean, that was the most memorable play to me on the whole Sunday was him being able to truck two guys and then get in there. And he kind of did that twice.
He looked real good.
I mean, he's a danger in the open field, and you get down in the red zone, that's probably tough to defend against. But no, as you were saying, they kind of had that game. They let the Giants sneak back in it. Saquon Barkley kind of had a really strong end to that game. I think he had the game tying touchdown and the game winning touchdown. So
yeah, he had a couple big gains in the towards the end of the game.
I was always happy to see that. I'm a big Saquon Barkley fan.
I mean, it's just for the Saints, it's not a game you want to lose. I mean, you don't want to have to be fighting for a wild card spot with Carolina right now. And if you fall,
I think they fell to 2-2 now after that game.
Yeah, they're 2-2, and you don't want to fall behind like that. Like it's not good.
You've already dropped the divisional game to the Panthers. I mean, they've been really up and down. I mean, I'm looking at their schedule. They crushed the Packers. Everyone remembers that. And they got crushed by the Panthers. They pretty much shut the Patriots down defensively. And then you lose in overtime to the 0-3 Giants.
I mean,
Up
They
and down.
got the other three NFC East teams this year on their
Mhm.
schedule.
Yeah, they play Washington next week. I have the schedule up right now. That'll be a pretty important game for them. Honestly, you don't want to drop to 2-3.
Both teams.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
guess it's so early on, all competitive.
it's
But
still very early. Yeah, but
What's interesting though is last week we were talking about all the 0-4, 0 and at the time 0-3 teams and who was in the worst shape, and it looks like we now know the answer to that question.
with
it
the Lions
is
and Jags.
the
Yeah,
Detroit Lions
no, it's definitely the Jags.
and the Jags. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm looking.
The
See
Lions,
the
you got to feel bad for. They haven't played. It's not like they're getting destroyed. I mean, minus 38 point differential in 4 games. I mean, you chop that down to like a touchdown, about a little bit more than a touchdown each game.
Yeah, they've had some bad breaks. I mean, the Ravens game especially. That was a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But
Meanwhile, yeah. What were you gonna say?
yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say like the Lions and the Jags and the last 0-4 teams. I mean, I'm looking at the standings, and I mean, you had the 0-3 Jets won a game, 0-3 Colts won a game, 0-3 Giants won a game last week, and the 0-3. No, I don't know if the Vikings were on. No, they lost. Sorry, ignore me. But yeah, it seems like the New York teams kind of got out of the cellar while Jacksonville and Detroit still stuck down there.
Yeah, I mean, who do you? I mean, I'm not shocked. I think the Colts were better than an 0-3 team. They just can't score in the red zone.
I don't love the
And
Colts, and I still
I
don't.
think they were a playoff team last year, and I mean, I don't know.
I
I
just
feel like
I'm not
once
a big
they trade
believer
over,
in Wentz, and I mean they played a Miami team without Tua. Like it was a good one to get back on the board, but now I think if I'm not mistaken, do they have to? Oh, they have to go play Baltimore next week. Yikes, that's a tough one.
which team?
The Colts.
Are you not a big Mo Alley Cox guy?
I'm a big Mo Alley Cox, former VCU Ram basketball. I'm a very big Mo Alley Cox fan.
No,
Yeah,
I just feel like, with Wentz at quarterback too, it's just so delicate.
Oh, I think Wentz looked pretty good this week, and
He
I mean,
did. No, he played well.
that's a good.
No, I mean, no, I'm saying he plays well, but like, it's you never know when he's gonna get injured. I mean, it's just been a whole career thing.
Yeah, he's supposedly playing with 2 sprained ankles too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, let's see. Hopefully, I mean, what Quentin Nelson's gone for another few weeks.
Yeah, they put him on IR, so at least the next 3, or well, this one and the next 2.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they
better
just had such a
team
brutal
than
start to the
credit
season.
for though. I mean, what they really lose anyone on defense this past year?
Justin Houston left. I mean, I don't think they really ever intended to re-sign him, but he was gone. Is Xavier Rhodes still there? I know they signed him.
Not possible. I mean, Darius Leonard, I think most people would argue is a beast. The force
Leonard still, Faulkner,
they got some studs there on defense.
Quiddy Pay. Yeah, I mean, they have a really good defense. It's just their offense is like really shaky.
T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, true. You had a really tough schedule to start this. I mean, it started with Seattle, Rams, Titans. You get one against the Dolphins. Now you have to go play Baltimore. It's definitely not an
Baltimore
easy slate.
looked good. Baltimore looked good yesterday.
They did look good. They
took, but one team, I want to give a big shout out to one team in particular. I was really banking on them to take care of business, and they did on the road. Divisional matchup, Seattle Seahawks.
Yep.
That, I think, was the game of the day for me, seeing them go into Santa Clara or whatever. And, with the narrative kind of against them, they just showed up for some classic Pete Carroll football.
It was an important win. I mean, they were 1-2. You lose that, you're 1-3 and down another divisional game. It's not a good spot to be in. But yeah, they kind of, and it was crazy because they started that game. So the whole first quarter, I think they ended with negative yardage. They had like 2-3 drives that went nowhere.
They gave up a touchdown on the first drive.
Yeah, they did terribly to start that game, but they figured it out. and they took care of business.
Well, their defense held them in the game. I mean, really,
For sure.
they let the ship kind of tread water there.
And granted, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo did get hurt in that game, and obviously that means the 49ers had to throw in a rookie quarterback. But I mean, sometimes that cannot be like, especially like Lance, who can use his legs. Like, you prepare for Jimmy G and you get Lance thrown at you instead. That can sometimes be a problem. But they,
what's weird is I'm looking at the game stats and I don't see anything listed for Trey Lance.
He
I
stumped.
got it.
He was what? Did he have like 3 completions? I thought he looked terrible, to be honest. He could run the ball, I'll give him that, but
Yeah, but
two
nothing
touchdown
nothing on the
I mean,
NFL
he
box
was
score
wide
lists his
open, like,
stats.
whatever.
I'm seeing here. So he was 9 of 18 for a 150 and 2. That's not bad. He also had 41 yards rushing. But yeah, I mean, that's 50% completion, and you're
Well,
playing from behind.
think of it this way, because they always. I know this is a Mike Francesca line, but like you ask the question, did he prepare that week to start to basically be the main guy? I mean, I don't think they're preparing him week in and week out to be the guy. I think they're preparing him to see a couple of series, maybe,
sure,
maybe even a couple
yeah.
plays, or they're not expecting him to run the offense. And
Like, you don't
that's
have the
what
full playbook like tailored for Trey Lance yet. You only really have him in for certain kind of designed runs or like play action pass type concepts.
Still, I think if you give him a full week, and who do the 49ers have next week?
I'll take a look. They play the Cardinals.
Oh, that's tough.
That's a tough one. Yeah, you lose that one, then you fall to 0-2 in the division. That's and they're on the road. That's an away game too. So
Look, the other thing I want to bring up is I'm down on Trey Lance right now is because they were down by 10 points and they had maybe 8 or 6 minutes on the clock. They wasted the entire clock that one drive. Granted, I mean, I know they had to go for it on 4th down a few times, but like
That's what I'm saying about him not being ready for like running the offense.
Second down.
Yeah, that's like situational awareness stuff that you wouldn't really expect from a rookie who gets kind of thrust into the game. He wasn't even
exactly.
Like a starter. Yeah. But all things considered, I mean, compared to how some of the other rookie quarterbacks had their debuts, I think there's you have 2 touchdowns and you have another 40 yards on the ground from Lance. There's reason to be optimistic. And if they give him like the whole week to prepare as a starter, even if it's a tough game, I think he'll kind of look a bit sharper.
Yeah. In the crop of rookie QBs, Trey Lance has done nothing to show that he's ineffective or bad or has glaring issues.
I agree.
So far through 4 weeks, who would you guys say are your offensive and defensive players of the year?
Overall or rookies?
Mine. As of now.
No, I mean in like league, like offensive player of the year and defense player of the year, or like rookie of the year? Rookie. I think offense would go with Jamar Chase. He's been really good every single game. I mean, he had 4 touchdowns in his first 3, and then he added another like 80 yards against Jacksonville. Defensively, Micah Parsons, I think even though they have him playing defensive end and he's like leading rookies in pressures right now. And then there's also some really good corners, like Patrick Surtain has been great. Yeah, since usually these awards go to a great rookie quarterback or like a dominant edge rusher rookie, and right now I don't think there's either of those two. So
I mean, I think Oweh of the Ravens and then Tryon on the Buccaneers have both been.
Tryon looked great last night. He had 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 4 tackles. He was all over the place.
Yeah, Tryon has definitely showed himself. I'm going to agree with Quinn. I think that Jamar Chase has kickstarted that offense almost single-handedly. I mean, last year you saw that, I think him having that connection with Joe Burrow, and sometimes you just need that where you have that chemistry, and that trains it from, that's where you go from your standard Ford to a Mustang, from your Ford Focus to a Mustang. That's how you get that, is with that type of, full body mechanics. And then you throw in the well-oiled machine of that offense. Like I said last week, I mean, it's hard to think of it any other way.
And
Defensively, it's been hard to see. Honestly, I'm not going to say a defensive person because I haven't really seen any defensive players stand out for Rookie of the Year right now.
There's been players they have like good performances. But yeah, I'd say week to week, I'd say the most consistent has been Micah Parsons. I think he's been really good for Dallas.
Yeah, we'll have to see. There's still a lot of a season left, obviously.
Oh, for sure.
But also, I think last week we were kind of talking about how the rookie quarterbacks did not look good, and then this week I think they all looked a lot better.
I was gonna mention that real quick. I mean, Trevor Lawrence played well enough to win on Thursday. It's just kind of
the rest of the team.
The rest of the team, not so much. And the Bengals kind of fatted down and were able to pull that one out at the end. Zach Wilson, big week, got his first win. Justin Fields got his first win as a starter. And I mean, Mac Jones, even though they lost, he looked a hell of a lot better than he did the previous week. I mean, he did well.
And he was playing against a top-notch defense.
Yeah, almost 300 yards passing, two touchdowns, one pick. That's progress for sure.
Against them. That wasn't really his fault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now they have to see if they can build on it. I mean, that's what it's about, is getting your feet on the ground. I mean, you can have a good game. I mean, Tim Couch probably had a good game one time, but in his rookie year. But you need to do it week in and week out.
Yeah,
for sure.
But were you guys able to catch the Matt Ryan, freaking Cordell Patterson? I couldn't believe that game.
I could believe it. He's been their top offensive player. Like, he's been their offense the whole year, Cordell Patterson.
What a weird career for that guy. He got drafted.
Where was this earlier in his career?
He got drafted in the first round to the Vikings. He didn't really do a whole lot but then like he found a role as a returner and he stuck around on a bunch of teams. And someone tried him at running back. And now all of a sudden he ends up in Atlanta.
On steroids.
He won a Super Bowl with New England.
Ridiculous. I mean, hey, he's been around for a while now. I think about it. I think
they have him at all types of positions.
He got drafted back in
that's all he is.
2013.
2013, yeah. So that's what, 8-9 years now.
Out of Tennessee.
He's played for 5 different teams. Yeah, I mean, for a guy who was kind of like gadgety and was only really a return man for a while, like he found his spot apparently.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns. I couldn't believe it.
He was unstoppable.
I was up against
him
in fantasy, and that's why I'm gonna lose that week.
That's tough.
I thought I was playing against you this week, Benton.
In a different league.
I'll be honest. I could have smoked you if I played some of my other guys. Poor mistake going with Naheem Hines instead of some of my other guys.
Yeah,
I put up the most points this week so far. Give me a little credit.
I am, but I'm saying I left so many points on the bench.
Yeah,
between James Conner, Devontae Parker.
All right, James Conner is like, I love him. He's my favorite. But like, how do you predict getting like 2 goal line touchdowns?
Look, I picked him because I knew he was going to be a goal line guy.
I guess, yeah. That's such
and I should have put him in over Naheem Hines.
It's so unpredictable.
I'm curious what you guys think of this. I was reading or listening to something today, and they're talking about in fantasy football, what if there's 2 possible points you can get each week, where one is your head-to-head matchup, and then your one is if you beat the league average in points for that week.
That's stupid.
So that would make record.
They don't do that in the NFL.
You might get unlucky with bye weeks or
no. It's stupid. They would never do that. It's like, let's just imagine if they did that in the NFL. Like, imagine if it seriously
scored a lot of points.
Yeah, let's just rack up points.
Not a player thing where fantasy football is a player.
Okay. Conceptually, it's a bit different, but like I'm thinking, like, what if you did a league where like there weren't head-to-head matchups, but you like get points based on like how you scored that week? So like, let's say our 10-man league,
top 8 teams.
Yeah, like of our league of 10, like let's say like one week I'm the second highest scorer, Benton's third, Jack's like fifth. You get an X amount of points based on like kind of where you stand in that and kind of like the table basically. And then at the end, who like the top four scorers or whatever, or the top four like point leaders move on to the playoffs or whatever.
I think there are leagues like that where it's just
It
scoring.
wouldn't surprise
leagues.
me. There's all sorts of leagues.
Yeah, I'm curious what you guys think of this. Maybe not as a main league, but what if we did a secondary league where we had like we have a draft every week for just starting positions.
That's
And
called
then
that's called
That's-
DraftKings.
Daily fantasy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's called
But
daily
you do it with
fantasy.
just your friends.
Yeah, you could do
Yeah, I
those
think
leagues.
so.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
you can do
all right.
leagues like that. Yeah. I would try.
All
I'm
Quickly,
awful at daily fantasy though.
quickly before the game starts, just so we could put it on the docket real quick. Urban Meyer.
The man with the plan. I'm not shocked. I think that's just like
I've been to that restaurant.
Coaches. I think all that like all the big schools, Big Ten, SEC, ACC. I think all those coaches just run campus. They can do what they want.
No, you're not wrong.
I think they probably. I'm sure they probably are very involved.
I've been to that restaurant.
My opinion on the
I've been to
matter
that
is
restaurant, Urban's Pint House in Dublin, Ohio.
the complicating factor is I believe he's a married man, but he's 0-4, he's having a tough time. Sometimes you just gotta go out and kind of ease off a little bit.
Here's my thing though. I've always been a big Urban Meyer guy. I've followed his career. I followed him at the Ohio State University. I've followed him in his retirement.
All three of them.
Yeah, he's a dark man. And I'm not talking he gets a nice tan in Jacksonville. There are a lot of questions that have been raised about his personal life and his background. And I know like everyone's entitled to do what they do in their private lives. That's fine. An NFL and college, well, an NFL head coach to me isn't a public figure. The head coach of a college football team at a public university where the head coach is the highest paid state employee, that's a little different. But the rumor mill and, rumor encapsulates like things that are like just pure conspiracy and things that have a lot of weight to it. The rumor mill about Urban Meyer is quite interesting and a little frightening at times. If you would like me to elaborate, I can slightly.
I'm just kind of baffled. Like, I don't know, it wouldn't surprise. Like I don't know. I always feel like he was a weird dude at Ohio State and Florida.
Let me put it this way. Think of the national championship team at Florida that he coached and the type of people he had in that room.
Yeah, that team was absurd.
And the incident that led to his retirement, so to speak, at Ohio State with
I think assistant coach,
I think it was Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor's the head. Yeah, Zach Taylor. I get him mixed up with the head coach of the. Zach Taylor's the. Yeah, exactly. I get him. I get him confused with the guy at Ohio State, which was
disrespectful to Coach Taylor,
which is Zach Smith. Sorry, they're both Zach.
That's right.
But I just think that Urban Meyer, and then a lot of people just think that Urban Meyer has a lot of weird things going on, and his persona kind of hides all of it. I mean, he has this persona as even-keeled, tight ship, type of guy with, strict rules, hands-on. I mean, he's, him, Saban, come from the same crop of hands-on, tight ship type dudes, and we know why Saban failed in the NFL and see why he does so well in college. And I think we're seeing the same things in the NFL for Urban. And I honestly think that this incident highlights the fact that I don't think Urban's built for this. I don't think he can handle this type of pressure. And I don't think, especially considering, he probably feels that he has so little control over the team that it's not, he might not even be putting the same type of effort into this, knowing that the players hate his disciplinarian type attitude and mantra and just all of that. But as
See,
the
I'm going
game
to
kicks
disagree with you
off,
on one thing.
that's all I'm going to say.
I remember after the draft getting Etienne, which I think most people, nothing against Etienne, but would find that questionable. You had this 1,400-yard rusher, and then you go in the first round and draft a running back. His whole thing is he says, we're going to have the best running game in the NFL, which I mean, I guess like if you look at the Ravens and 49ers, they've been pretty successful with running the ball a lot, but like that's not really where the league's going. I just found it kind of funny. Like that's what he was going for when you're drafting this once in a lifetime prospect. I mean, most people would call Trevor Lawrence, and you don't address the offensive line. I mean, I guess the Bengals kind of did the same thing, and it's working all right, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of questionable some of the decisions he's making.
I think to me, it's not like a disciplinary, like the issue isn't like the approach. It's just like it's been so long where he had to actually build a team up. Like probably since when he first got his gig at Utah. I mean, those four teams he got hired to were very talented, and Ohio State obviously you're recruiting well because as deep as you want it to. This is the first time in decades for him, probably where he has a comparatively to the rest of the league talent deprived roster, and he needs to kind of build it up from scratch and get the team kind of going in the right direction. So
that's fair. That's a fair point.
Yeah. So I think it's proven to be a bigger challenge than I guess he anticipated it being.
Just an FYI again, as the game starts, my stream is going to be hella behind. But
yeah, all right. So I already saw the first play of the game. I don't know if you have, Jack.
There was a reception. Keenan Allen, the ageless wonder.
That was nuts. Style.
Isn't it crazy? Didn't Keenan Allen play with I want to see if I guess I just think of Keenan Allen being older than I thought.
He's
14,
over 30.
You know who I think? You know who I think of? I keep mistaking. I keep getting him basically mistaken by association with Antonio Gates.
I mean, there was some overlap in there. Allen was drafted back in like 2013, so
Gates Antonio Gates was still there.
Yeah, he didn't retire until much later.
But that's why I get them mistaken by association, because it's like they kind of fill the same role as,
always open.
Primary receiver kind of.
Yeah, right.
John Hussey, top ref.
Look at this. Herbert came in here in his home stadium because there are so many Raiders fans.
That's
the well-traveled Oakland crew. I don't even have the volume on.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm looking. This is a big game for the Raiders. I'm looking like they're 3-0 right now. The Chargers are 2-1. They win this one, they're 4-0, and that means both the Chargers and the Chiefs are trailing you at 2 games behind, both at 2-2.
I will say though,
that's true. The Broncos are only 1 game back. You're right.
I will say though,
no, I didn't.
The Chargers this season 0-1 at home, but if this is a quasi road game, I mean, who knows?
What was their who'd they lose to?
Dallas.
Yeah, they lost to Dallas.
And you could argue they kind of got robbed on that one.
They beat the footballers and the Chiefs. Oh, wow.
Mad Max. It's getting antsy. Speaking of the Broncos, their Teddy Bridgewater concussion. We'll see what his status is. They come to play Pittsburgh next week, and that's as a Steelers fan, this is if we don't win this one, that ship might be sinking pretty fast.
Well, it's a lose-lose scenario to me. I mean, if they win that game and Ben, is able to keep it together, then, nothing against Ben. He's had a great career, and I still think he's better than most quarterbacks. But you kind of have it's like, okay, we're going to stick with Ben, even though you know that. I mean, granted, what's the alternative? I mean, what, you're going to go to Mason Rudolph?
You can try. All right, so here's the thing. The one thing I'll give Rudolph credit for is he's a nice deep ball, and that's like hypothetically, you make the quarterback switch, and and Rudolph hits a few deep balls and kind of gets the offense going.
Which he did last year.
Yeah, he came in that Week 17 game against the Browns, and they almost won that game, even with all our backups. Rudolph just kept hitting like Claypool deep, like 3 or 4
weird
times
play
that
call
game.
that was.
And around.
He'll end around with the receiver. But yeah, they're not going to bench Ben. They're going to keep riding with him until he either gets hurt or figures it out, I guess. But like if you're playing the Broncos have a great defense, so it's not going to be easy. But you're playing the Broncos with potentially their backup quarterback Drew Lock, and if you can't win that one because your offense is still that stuck in the mud, like it might be time to consider a change. I don't know.
Do you guys remember what the Giants did? I remember they benched Eli and what they played Geno Smith.
Yeah, they
They
played Geno
benched Eli
Smith. What
for
a
one
terrible
game.
thing.
Played Geno Smith, he was terrible, and they put Eli back in.
But
And it was
that's what
it was such an uproar because like Eli had his Iron Man streak. Like he didn't even get hurt. Like it
That was the
ended
Ben
because the coach
McAdoo.
benched. Yeah, it was McAdoo. I mean, Ben said
Oh,
like he
who was
got like
limping?
touchdown number 400, and he passed Marino in total yardage, and he has no Iron Man streak. So like they don't have to protect him from any record at this point, or like they don't want to like stop him from any milestone because he's hit the big ones he was chasing. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I've also heard people say, you know what, Big Ben has a lot of pride, and
Oh, for sure.
you got to wonder, would he rather take the bench? Like, I mean, he wouldn't retire. That'd be stupid. But it's like, how easy do you think it is for him to take that?
Not at all. I mean, I watch him play, and you can see like I think he realizes he doesn't have it, but he just doesn't want to give up yet. Like he still wants to keep trying, but like you see plays. I don't know how much you guys watch the game, but like it'll be a fourth down call, and it'll be 4th and 4, and he'll dump it off 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and the play will go nowhere. And it's like plays like that where I'm like, he knows he doesn't have it anymore.
Well, the other thing to me is that, like, you see the players on the bench yesterday, and they're like, come on, Ben. Like, they know that it's an
he missed
issue.
2 touchdowns to Juju. You throw just a better ball, and those are 2 walk-ins. Like Juju was furious on the bench. They're in a tough spot, and I think they'll win next week. Maybe not if Bridgewater's healthy, but like, yeah, if you sink to 1-4, you're in trouble.
To me, the thing that makes it worse is that there's a fire under their ass in terms of the competition in their division. It's not like you have the lowly Browns. It's not like your only competition's Baltimore anymore. You got all those divisional games now are not easy games on your schedule.
You're 1-3, and the other 3 teams are all 3-1. So you're already behind the 8 ball there. So you got to if you want to stay competitive, you got to get your wins where they come. And this one against Denver, I'd almost call it a must win if you have kind of any kind of hope at making the postseason or at least kind of hanging around in the division.
Absolutely.
And Deshaun Watson sweepstakes.
All right, that's tough to say because I don't know if the organization would want to attach themselves to
that's
Watson
not a Rooney move. That's not a Rooney move.
After having Ben for so long and having to deal with that kind of press. So, but speaking of Rodgers, you saw him hamming it up with Mike Tomlin during the game. That's probably the dream move right now.
I mean, there's no quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. I think that's a good move as a placeholder for a year or two at least.
I mean, I'm all like, I don't like wasting time with veteran. I mean, you get Rodgers, different story. But like, I don't like the idea of just wasting time with a good Jimmy Garoppolo or a Jared Goff caliber quarterback. I either think you get the big fish like Aaron Rodgers.
There's 6.
Yeah, there's Donald Parham, big 6'9" tight end. But I was saying, you either get the big fish with Rodgers, or you draft your own rookie and try and build him up. So the only problem is I don't think there's a quarterback ready to start right now. And they have the talent on the roster to potentially win right now. So it's just kind of a bad year to have a down year. But
yeah.
Oh well.
Just for quick cap on that conversation, the divisional games within that division for next week, you have Monday night, Indy and Baltimore. You're going to have the Browns taking on the Chargers, who are currently playing right now.
Oh, that's a big
And
game.
the Bengals are going up against the Packers.
Okay. So, I mean, if the Steelers going to gain some ground, it could be this week. I mean, you could. I don't think the Ravens will lose, but I could very easily see both Cleveland and Cincinnati dropping their contests. So,
and Cleveland didn't even look that good this week, especially Baker. I mean,
Baker was bad. I mean, I didn't watch a whole lot of that game. I just kind of saw a bit through red zone, but like,
I mean, the score of the game and the proximity of the two teams, the whole game would have you think like, oh, it's a decent game, like, oh, it was a good game, but really, like, it wasn't. I mean, it just was
bad
Baker.
Football.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Browns, their defense is firing right now, so the Vikings really couldn't figure anything out.
Yeah. During this commercial break, I'm gonna step aside for 1 second.
Yeah, go for it.
I'd be in 2 seconds. Oh man, the Julian Edelman has been on his Truly commercials quite a bit today already.
I found that little retirement ad deal. There you go.
Oh man.
Secure the bag. So did you watch the Eagles Chiefs game in the early window?
Yeah, I was watching some. Honestly, the Eagles, they looked good at first, and then Tyree was blowing past them every time.
I mean, that's a game where the Chiefs are firing on all cylinders. There's not much you could do about that. But, like, for me, the takeaway was the Chief defense did not look good. Like, the Eagles were moving the ball really well. Like,
yeah, Gainwell looks really good.
yeah, Devonta Smith had over, like, 120 receiving yards.
Yeah, there's definitely some talent there. I mean, the Chiefs defense, I think Frank Clark's not playing this year, right, after the arrest.
He's been on and on. I actually don't know if he's like done for the year, but like he's been dealing with an injury, so I don't think he's played yet.
Yeah, I mean, what they got Chris Jones there. I mean, I don't think the D line's not anything.
Honey Badger,
right? It's usually they got a ton of speed. What Thornhill, L'Jarius Sneed, Tyrann Mathieu. But
yeah, Chris Jones, who's one of the best defensive tackles, but like you don't have anything on the edge, especially with Frank Clark either hurt or ineligible.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really think I can name another pass rusher on that team. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you get the win because Mahomes and Tyreek are amazing, but now you're going to play Buffalo, I think, and
we'll see. That'll be an interesting game.
I don't think their defense is going to be able to get the stops. Like, that's going to be tough based on what I'm watching.
Kansas City or Buffalo, do you know?
Let me take a look. Chiefs.
They should have Mahomes and Josh Allen have a throw off at halftime.
It's a home game, and it's the big Sunday night game next week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's two really
not playing, or no? That was him. All right.
He was like a game time decision, but he is active. Yeah.
Activated.
All right, I'm returned. I was just preparing my lunch for tomorrow.
While you were gone, we started talking about the Eagles. I don't know if you had any specific thoughts on that game.
I think not. I think that game was a bit of a microcosm for the whole season, and I'm having a tough time with Sirianni right now and some of his play calling choices, especially with abandoning I thought last year. I mean, granted, they haven't had a great O-line. We've talked about how that's been not that they have a bad O-line, but they don't always have that O-line there. And you're missing Mailata, who's been a key. You're missing Lane Johnson. And so maybe he's a little hesitant to run the ball. But, I mean, you have a lot of good running options. Miles Sanders, Malcolm Gainwell. And that was working the first week of the season. And suddenly they're no longer having the run game. And then, so there's that. But I'm not going to be upset about losing to the Chiefs by less than 2 touchdowns. I'm not going to be that upset about it.
I mean, we were talking about like the Chiefs defense, and saying like, oh, the Eagles were like really moving the ball well on them. So kind of what does that mean going forward for the Chiefs? But like, I mean, you look at the way they played the way the Eagles played Dallas, and they couldn't score for the life of them. And then, yeah, I mean, they came within 2 touchdowns on a day where the Chiefs were basically hitting everything they wanted. So
I mean, they had they had like a drop or 2 in the end zone. They had a couple of like bad play calls with like bad penalties. Tough luck, but I mean, the NFL is like it's literally. I mean, they say every sport's a game of inches, but I mean, the NFL is the only one with a play that is categorized as down in inches, and
legitimate
so
inches.
Oh, golf
like,
went inches too.
yeah, whatever. But no, I think obviously the Raiders are not the Raiders, the Chiefs coming into Philly and winning like that, it's good. But if you're a Chiefs fan, I'd say like, you know what, you're thinking play. I mean, I know this is like a death sentence in the NFL, but they're a team that has to be thinking playoffs. They know they have the talent to be thinking playoffs this early in the season. They know that they have the players to be doing that. Because you got to be ready to plan ahead. You got to think 2 steps forward in the NFL. You got to have contingency plans. You got to have, you got to be ready. It's so weird how, take it 1 week at a time, but you also need to be ready. I mean, it's a long haul. It's kind of funny. The NFL is like 1 part sprint and 1 part long haul where, it's grueling, but it's also at the snap of a finger. In 3 weeks, your season can be over, if something bad happens. And, things are going well for the Chiefs. But if you're the Chiefs with what you're used to, and with the competition now in this division, you're thinking it has to go a little better.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, look, they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They made it back last year. I mean, I wouldn't be too worried, but who knows that Mahomes super contract, which I mean, I think anyone would have paid him that.
Oh, for sure.
They also they gave Chris Jones huge money, Travis Kelce huge money.
I mean, yeah, right now
Banking on the NFL just making the salary cap a lot bigger just for them. Like, it'll be interesting going forward because they can't really sign too many people unless people take.
They've paid all their stars, which is great, but now you're going to start feeling the effects of that. You're not going to have a whole lot of money left over to fill out the rest of the roster talent wise.
What is Tyreek still on a rookie deal even?
No, they gave him he got paid. Actually, I mean, he signed a contract. I don't remember the details of it though. I'm gonna pull that up real fast. 3 years, $54 million. So that's like 18 a year.
Yeah, not too shabby.
No. But yeah, I mean,
money, but how many years is Mahomes' deal for? Is it 10?
10. Yeah, I think it was like 10,400 or something or 10,500, I think.
Yeah, it's $500 million.
$500 million. Yeah, that's right.
And they're talking Watson was gonna get money like that
before.
There,
yeah. I mean, you're seeing quarterbacks in the 40 million range, or like Dak. I think Dak hit 40 on his deal.
He got a lot of money.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Hell, I'd only give it a few more years before someone might pass Mahomes, at least in like I don't think you're going to see someone get that long of a deal, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone kind of tops him in annual value.
What, like a Joe Burrow or something in the 3 years?
Yeah, like or Herbert. Like I don't know, like
Yeah.
3 years he signs like 55 annually. I don't know.
What the Lamar got an extension, right?
No, he's getting paid this offseason most likely.
I mean, I feel like he's got to be at least close to that number. He's won MVP before.
I think bet that Baker made on himself is looking funny now.
That's the Baker contract. I can't wait to see what that's going to look like. But I don't with Lamar, yeah, I think you give him big money, but do you commit years to him? I mean, running quarterbacks, like longevity wise, it's a lot different than
just it's a high demand for the rest of the team.
Yeah.
In terms of putting the pieces together that can protect him and everything.
You absolutely got to pay him, but it's just I'm excited to see kind of the structure of that deal because I think they're going to go high money, low, but only like 4 or 5 years probably.
Yeah, we'll see. But they do have a lot of pieces there. I think most people would argue that's one of the more complete rosters, and just
Oh, for
like
sure.
how do you pay everyone? How does everyone eat?
I mean,
What do you think? What do you guys think the strategy is? Like, do you think teams just have to like acquire a lot of draft picks and have those like edge rusher corners?
I think you try and find your your big positions and lock those down. And
Linebackers.
I guess if you trust your scouting department to kind of find contributors year in, year out. I mean, that's where talent built through the draft. And if you have a good
Oh, who got a hand on that?
I mean, just because like for the most part, it's most teams they just they gotta. It's usually like this one year that really clicks, but I mean, obviously the Chiefs the past 2 years have been pretty darn good, and this year they're having a little bit of trouble. But then like I'm besides like the Patriots and maybe like the Steelers for a little bit, like most teams like you're in and out consistently.
One thing I gotta wonder is, the Chiefs have basically run the table. Oh, the Chiefs have basically run the table 2 straight years, making it all the way to the Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl. You gotta imagine that's a lot of football. You know, granted, you have the offseason to fix yourself up, and the preseason rules this year are a little different, but you gotta think like that's hard on a team to play that much football in the span of 3 years.
Yeah, and teams are drafting or picking up players to stop that team because that's a fair team too.
Yeah, it's an arms race, and
it's an arms race,
and you fall in the draft.
Yeah, I mean you're picking a lot later than these teams. I mean, hell, arms race, and the Chargers might already be catching up. I mean, they beat them last week. I mean, they're going to give them hell to win that division. So that could really kind of change the outlook of the Chiefs later in the season.
Yeah, but ultimately, sometimes, experience is the game breaker. And I mean, the other big thing is home field. Granted, like it's cliche, but I would say Kansas City is one of the best stadiums in the country to have home field advantage.
For sure.
NFL team.
Yeah, it's a big difference between being a wild card and having home field.
And they're doing the play-in this year again too, so or the 17 playoff.
Yeah, is that right?
Get a little more interesting.
So yeah, I mean the Chiefs were the number 1 seed, the only team with a bye last year, and paid dividends for sure. So if you even if you win the division, if you can't get the 1 seed because a team like Buffalo gets it, makes it a lot harder on you.
Yeah. Most definitely. We'll have to see. It's still a long season. 17 games too, so
yeah, still ways to go.
I'm really curious to see how that 17th game really changes the playoffs. Do you think teams and also with the 17 playoff, do you think teams that are less likely to bench play or sit players now are more likely?
I say
you're only fighting for one playoff spot, and if it's basically guaranteed, then I feel like teams are more likely to get more rest. And because I mean, at the end of the year, a lot of times it comes down to who is the healthier team.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely showed in the Super Bowl last year.
To me, I'd say the biggest impact is only one team getting a bye. So I feel like because previously, you had a bunch of teams competing for both the 1 and the 2 seed, so you get the bye and also home field advantage later on. But with only one team getting a bye, I feel like teams are more inclined to rest, to kind of just heal up before the playoffs start if they're not if it seems clear that they're not going to be the top seed.
Yeah, I was going to say that last game almost becomes like another bye week game. I mean, if you're playing a cupcake team, you're already in the playoffs. You're already going to be like, okay, you could be a 3 seed or a 4 or 3 or 2 or 3 seed. I don't see any point in trying that last game. Make that like a bye week. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And that teams like I also like something I remember is the Steelers when they moved back the extra point. The Steelers were a lot would go for the 2 point conversion a
A
lot more.
lot.
Yeah, that's right.
I
It's
don't know
kind
what happened to that.
team dynamics kind of change and like what their thought process is. And
Well, I
That
feel like
was so
this year
much
a lot of
fun.
teams are going for it on fourth down.
yeah, I've noticed that too.
Real aggressive, yeah.
Especially. And I don't know if you guys were watching Bama versus Ole Miss, but Ole Miss goes for it a lot on fourth downs.
I think that's
Yeah,
been a thing that's come from college, and I think it's
I think
because you
so.
you figure if you have a good enough off, like guess what? I think four down territory has been stretched a lot more, and I think teams are realizing like why give up the you want to keep possession of the ball if it's fourth and short from like decent field position, not like middle field position, like why would you try and leave those points off the board? I mean, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, especially with like analytics in the NFL, I think you've
It's
seen a
kind
lot more teams saying like, "Hey, better if we go for this." The
it's
numbers back it up.
it's kind of like going for the 3 point play or the
Hmm.
3 pointer. Highly recommended. If you to anyone watching this, if and to you two, if you either of you know John Boyes, like the
Yeah.
weird Twitter, he did a video about punting, and he basically like did a bunch of stat stuff and things like that where it was like, yeah, like punting isn't good most of the time. Like a lot of the times NFL coaches choose to punt when statistically speaking, you have a better shot going for it. And even if you give up, even if you don't get it, like you still have a
Oh,
better chance of winning. Highly recommended it. And he also looks at what he calls the saddest punts of the 21st century, which are calculated based off of distance to first down, field position, time left in the game, and the score. So, oh shit.
it's a
Jack's way
nice play.
behind.
Yeah, check. Is that both? Yeah, it was both. All right.
Former classmate
Oh,
kind of.
Oh, wow. How do you call that? Looks like he
poor
was.
Alex.
I don't know if there's forward motion on it.
I think I'd say it's a fumble because like the ball
That was definitely a fumble.
was released before like he.
No, they didn't even challenge it.
Yeah, they just accepted it. Oh well.
Oh,
Bosa. I mean, that's a rookie right there, Alex Leatherwood. That's trial by fire.
but
Not
yeah,
Billy
great
Bosa.
video. Definitely interesting. It makes you I think it definitely in part reveals the fact that punting is just kind of stupid.
I think I was
Punting
talking about
is
this with
you
Quinn
heard
the
it here
first
first.
week. The guy, the high school coach that never punted, he now coaches at Presbyterian College.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's interesting. He took the same concept. They always go for it on fourth down.
I wonder what they're doing. I'm gonna look that up.
I mean,
Presbyterian
there's
football.
definitely times where you should punt if you're like back deep in your territory and you're only up by X
I
amount
mean,
of points.
it's basically how I used to always play Madden, never punt.
And never punt on.
Never punt past midfield. I would never punt past midfield.
All right, so they're Presbyterian. They're 3-1 this year. Their point totals are 84, 68, 72, and 43 in a loss.
43 was the loss.
Yeah, they lost 63 to 43 to Dayton.
Mm.
Jesus, what the hell?
Their onside kick must have not been too successful.
No, it must be that's one hell of a case study right there.
I feel like there's got to be. I feel like teams don't really bring out the sneaky onside kick that much either.
It's so much harder now because
Well,
you
I feel
can't
like
like.
if teams aren't like ready for it, like you're just in normal kick return, I feel like there could be a lot more strat. Because if you think about it, you got 11 guys and they got what is it usually in the front row? Is it five?
5, yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, odds if you hit it right, you definitely got numbers.
for sure.
Oh no, we'll have to see. Because
I
like
think also when you have the right defense for
fourth
it.
down. I think the Saints versus Colts that one Super Bowl that was one of the
That's
Onside kick.
most fun, very
Yeah.
exciting.
and didn't Nick Saban didn't he do that in a championship game too? One of those Clemson games.
Maybe I can't remember. I
Am I
definitely
misremember? I don't remember.
The Colts.
Yeah, the Payton one for the Saints one for sure. Yeah,
That was coming out of the half, right?
Yep.
yeah. It was they were
Well,
down
I
at
mean,
half.
that's a cliche to me of every Super Bowl is you have there's always, I mean, granted, minus the blowout ones, but in most of the recent Super Bowl, there's been a big coaching decision that, is a risk, but it gets rewarded.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, I think of Philly, but something like that.
Hey, look at this.
There he goes.
Gaetan.
One game we really didn't touch on this week, Cardinals Rams. I mean, I know we talked about the Cardinals a bit being the last undefeated team, but I mean, the Rams look like the best team in the league after they took down the Bucks pretty handily, and then the Cardinals pretty much smashed. I mean, it was
Transitive win.
37-13 before garbage time. Yeah, they really showed up to that one.
I think they've looked high. They've been high octane. I mean, I don't think there's anything else to describe it. I think you have such a good dual threat with Kyler Murray. I think isn't AJ Green on that team?
Yeah, AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, Rondale Moore, Christian Kirk.
Yeah, they're loaded.
Williams. Chase Edmonds is amazing receiving
Connor,
back.
goal line back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Cliff Kingsbury air raid is working.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I think it's kind of similar. Carl Nassib getting in there. I think it's kind of similar when you got like as I've said with Cincinnati, when you got all those options as an offense, it really makes it hard for the defense because you just got so like options. It's like imagine going to Chipotle and they can make you a burger too.
It's one hell of an analogy. Chipotle burger.
Wow, there was a sea of black in the stadium.
I'm telling you, dude, this is a home game
For the
Raiders.
Yeah, look at Herbert. He can't even hear.
You can't hear.
Wow.
Can't throw either, apparently.
Yeah, apparently not.
Gotta throw it away there.
No, I think maybe a little ballsy, but maybe they go deep to Mike Williams here.
I hope so. I'd love that.
3rd and 15.
Mike Williams was my player choice of the game.
I need Mike. I'll love, but I need Mike Williams.
Oh, yeah, the ups for the check down. Pretty lame.
He was looking deep. He was.
Okay, so I'm gonna get that.
Have a quiet game. Sorry.
I'm gonna get this in like 2 seconds, I guess.
Dang, not much going on since that opening drive for me.
No, yeah, I think it was 3 or 4 3-and-outs or turnovers or whatever.
I mean, there's almost that block punt, and then they're. Oh, look at this!
It's a fake play. Oh
my God! No, don't spoil it. Oh no. Oh boy, I literally Herbert just walked off the field. We got the D coordinator saying, "Nice job, guys. Good job, black, like or white or silver or whatever. Good job, guys." And oh my God, he got popped.
That was a good throw.
That was perfect.
Hunter Renfrow.
Is that a fumble?
No, it went out of bounds anyway.
I think they ruled it incomplete.
Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, Hunter Renfrow.
Not baseball Hunter Renfrow.
Dude's looking like Ed Reed out there. Holy shit.
How does that work? If the ball it fumbles, but then it rolls to a first down and goes out of bounds?
Whoever last had possession.
No, it comes back to the spot where it was fumbled.
Okay.
Yeah.
But depending on who has possession. But I'm saying
they called it where it fumbled.
No, that's where they.
I'll start.
Where they kicked from, I think.
They kicked. Really, they kicked from their 40. No, there's no way. I think they called it a fumble.
You might be right. Can't remember how far down
ESPN Gamecast said it was an incomplete pass.
Incomplete. Okay.
All right. So he threw that to like their own.
That makes me think of the really stupid call they had in the Washington football team versus Chargers game in week 1 where they said he fumbled it out of the end zone.
Yeah, if you fumble in the end zone, isn't it touchback now?
Yeah, but like it wasn't a fumble. It was like an incomplete. It was like a tuck, like incomplete pass. That was I'm watching them draw up the play again. Wow, Renfrow was Oh, he knew it was happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think he saw it probably
He
pretty.
read it. Good
Something
heads
else.
up play. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh. Big man, get in there.
Yeah, this is not looking like the offensive game we predicted.
No, not at all. Oh, it's still
Well,
only the
I mean,
first
the one
quarter.
guy I highlighted, I mean, even though he hasn't done too much is Max Crosby, but then you think of Bosa on the other side. I mean, the front five or whatever, you know,
James going in
they
missile.
they can, yeah, they can really get in there.
Yeah, it's two of the best pass rushers in the game, or at least this year.
At least in the AFC,
Love
I
both.
could think of.
All right, let's see. I mean, what? It's got to be on Henry Ruggs.
A little deep, 3rd and 22.
Let
Henry
him
Ruggs down there somewhere.
chuck it up and hope for the best. All right, open, no one in the backfield. It's Derek Carr. All right, looks like Ruggs is on a streak. Oh,
Ah,
what are these checkdowns? Check down King.
I don't think they want to have a Brett Favre punt.
the old arm punt.
Why not?
Brett Favre.
Well, as we kind of wrap up the first quarter here, want to talk predictions real fast for next week?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look. If I'm gonna make a bold. Maybe I'll make something bold. Maybe I'll be a little bit whatever.
I pulled up my predictions from last week. Let me see how I did.
Yeah, I don't have it, but I don't think I did too well.
1-1, 1-2, 2-2, 2-3, 3-3, 4-3, 6-4, 7-4, 7-5, 5, 9-5, 10-5. I'm 10-5 so far, and I have the Chargers tonight, so that could be win 11 for me. Not bad.
You're not too bad at all.
Yeah,
All right, you want me to run through next week's games?
yeah, go
Yeah.
for it.
All right, Thursday night we got the Rams visiting Seattle. I don't know about you guys, but I
That's a
think that'll be a
Thursday
pretty
night game.
game.
Wow.
It's a good game.
Yeah. Ooh. I'll go with the Rams in a bit of a bounce back game.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way. I mean, who knows? I mean, Russell Wilson could just go off, but I feel like the Rams gotta honestly maybe a loss is what they need just to get them a little fired up. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't know
Maybe
what you're thinking, Jack.
big game
Do you
for
know
both
what?
teams.
I'm gonna stick. I thought Seattle. I predicted Seattle to go into San Francisco last week and win. There's gonna be another team that had a key road victory last week that I'm gonna predict to win again next week. So I'm gonna stick with Seattle because I think that's gonna be a big theme is teams coming in taking road wins and making it into two straight. So I like Seattle, keeping that up.
All right, next up we got Jets at Falcons.
Oh,
Yeah.
nobody
That's a
wins
London
watching
game.
that
That's
game.
Yeah,
yeah.
9:30 Eastern time too.
Everybody loses with that one.
Sending our best over to London. Love that.
That's how we grow the
You
game.
know what? Zach Wilson got his first win last week. He's getting his second win this week. Let's go Jets.
How does it count as a home game for the Falcons there? They're just really getting screwed out of a
Yeah,
game.
you just kind of lose a home game. It kind of stinks, but I'm sure the NFL gives you some more revenue or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
No, I think they get to collect the whole. I don't know, but yeah,
Ticket
you know
sales, I
what?
don't know.
Like I just said, nobody wins in that game. Not even the NFL. It's going to be a slog show, but I'd
The
like to
British
think that
definitely lose.
I'd like to think that that Zach Wilson. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Zach Wilson. Gonna have to go with the Jets.
Give me the Jets.
All right, and then another 1 o'clock game. We got Patriots at Houston.
If last week was any indication, Houston is miserable until Tyrod Taylor's back. So give me the Patriots.
There's no reason why the Patriots should lose that game with an absolutely non-existing Houston offense.
Yeah, Belichick will be livid if they end up losing that. All right.
Oh God.
After that, we got the Lions visiting the Vikings. I think we'll probably all agree the Vikings, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be bold. I know the Lions are missing so many dudes, but like I always want to keep in the back of my head, they've fought and clawed their way to so many close games. And granted, Minnesota just has so much more talent than them, but it's like, come on, like they've. I mean, the Lions just need to win a game at some point.
Yeah, we'll see.
The
But the
Vikings are 1-3.
the next, yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is I think the Vikings' strength is the receivers, and the Lions are just absolutely hurting at cornerbacks.
Corner.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why it's hard for me to say to pick the Lions. I'm gonna probably stick with the Vikings, but it's a tough scene for Dan Campbell, man Campbell. Hate seeing this. He's just a guy that wants people that could put guys into body bags on his team.
Their own line does look good. I mean, Jared Goff, I think, is doing better than a lot of people thought he would.
Can't find the win yet.
Yeah, but I will see. All right, next up we got Eagles at Panthers. Uh,
Even though they lost, I like what the Panthers are doing right now. I'll stick with them. Sammy
Yeah,
Darnold.
on the road
Yeah,
too.
The Panthers actually have a rhythm. The Eagles have no rhythm.
Ooh.
That would've been-
The Eagles have no rhythm right now, and it's hard for me to see them winning a game on the road like that.
Yeah, it's tough. But then, all right, another 1 o'clock game. We got Saints visiting the Washington football team. I think both of these teams have kind of been
Up and down.
people necessarily expected this year.
Um, I don't know. That's a tough. I could see that going either way. I'll go with the Saints just because I think they're a more complete offense right now than Washington.
Not only that, I'm gonna go with the Saints just because Washington's defense hasn't even been that stellar to me compared to last
No,
year.
it hasn't.
I think they get that big, that big bump from a great performance last year, but I don't think they're running it back this year.
All right, I'll be a little different and I'll take Washington at home. Next up, we got Titans at Jaguars. You know what? Titans are gonna win, I think.
I'm doing it. Give me the Jags. Trevor Lawrence first win. I'm taking it. Let's go Jags.
I honestly feel more comfortable. I felt not very comfortable saying Detroit's going to get their first win, but I mean, I like Jacksonville. I think Urban has had enough. I think he's horny for a win, and I think he's gonna. Yeah, I
They were
think he
close.
wants.
They were close last week.
I think they're getting closer and closer. I'll ride with Quinn on Jacksonville taking them
All right.
at home.
All right,
Next up,
Jags.
we got a Florida matchup. We got the Dolphins at the Buccaneers.
Oh my God.
Give me the Bucs.
Yeah, give me the Bucks. I
Yeah,
don't think
give
I
me the
think much of that.
Bucks.
All right,
Jacoby
next up,
Brissett is just not it's not a guy.
next
He's not that guy.
Not that
we
guy.
got the Green Bay versus Bengals.
Green Bay, they looked good. They looked real good last week. I'll back them in that one.
Yeah, I mean, both offenses are looking pretty hot right now. I don't know, but I do feel like the Bengals defense has been kind of sneaky good, to be honest.
I
Definitely
just
hasn't
have
been bad.
Expected at a minimum.
I have one question for you guys. Who day, who day, who they think they're gonna beat those Bengals at home in front of a great crowd. The Bengals perfect record at home on the year. I think that they're able to create an intimidating environment without any I mean, granted, they have Gold Star in the house as opposed to Skyline, bit questionable. But honestly, I think the Bengals can give them a good run for their money. I think that you know what, if they're a team that thinks that they could put the foot on the gas and keep it on the gas, I think this is the game for them to do that. I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
All right. I respect that.
Holy smokes, this is a defensive game right here.
Yeah, no kidding. It's not what I expected.
Who's next on the slate?
All right, next up we got. No, screw it. Give me the Bengals. But next up is Broncos Steelers.
I said earlier the Steelers need this game. I think this is too important for them to lose.
Yeah, I think
I'll
there's
take the
no
Steelers.
Teddy either. If there's no Teddy, I think you got to go.
I definitely feel good if no Teddy. If he does play, it'll be tight, but I think we'll pull it out.
I'll be honest. I watched the Baltimore game. I was heavily thinking Baltimore was going to win that game against Denver yesterday, which they did easily. I think that, credit to the Broncos for winning the games they should have won. But I think that now they're playing a bit of a stronger teams. I think that the Steelers, it's going to be one of those games where you're only going to lose if you shoot yourself in the foot. And granted, the Steelers have the capability and the tendency to do that, but I don't think they do it tomorrow. I don't think they do it on Sunday. I'll take the Steelers.
All right, next up we got Bears at Raiders. Give me the Raiders.
I'll take the Raiders.
Raiders.
All right, next up, I think this will be a pretty good matchup. Browns versus or at Chargers.
I'll go with the Chargers because I honestly, even though they're playing well defensively, the Browns haven't been inspiring offensively.
I'm going to take the Chargers.
But for what's worth, Chargers aren't looking to.
That's true. That's true. They're not looking too inspiring right now either. But
and I mean, it's just that I mean, looking inspiring versus just having the weapons. I think that the Browns have a good run game, but with Bosa, I mean, look, I think the two teams defensively can go blow for blow with who they have on the front.
Mm-hmm. Bosa and Garrett, that's another great pass rusher.
Give me the Chargers. All right, next up, divisional matchup: Giants at Dallas.
This is the other game I was talking about, with the team coming off a win on the road and having that confidence to do it again, to win again. I'm going to take the New York Football Giants, even though, guess what? Is there a heavy talent mismatch? You betcha. Is there, having to win the game in Jerryland? You betcha. But guess what? I said that every year the Cowboys manage to lose a game that they should have won, and they throw away their season that way. I think this could be one of those games easily where the Giants are able to go in there. They're able to take care of business. They're able to I think some teams feed off of that energy of playing in Dallas, especially teams in the NFC East. They love shutting those fans up. They love pissing off Jerry Jones. And I think that the Mara family has a directive from Wellington Mara's grave that the Giants win this game. Give me the Giants.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I think quietly, I think the Cowboys might be one of the best teams in the NFC. They're playing really good ball. 3-1 right now. They have some big wins on their resume. Their loss was a tight one to Tampa.
Yeah,
Tampa, they're good.
Winning field goal. Yeah,
even the Cowboys.
That's your analogy, Jack. Gave me some hope, but I think I'm gonna have to go Dallas. All right, next up, 49ers Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals at home.
Yeah.
That's going to be the
same thing about the Rams last week, I think, too, though. So
it's impressive that that's going to be the second best game of the day. Now that I look at the schedule, because that's going to be a great game. I'm going to take the Cardinals. I think that I like to think that, it's hard for them to say, oh, we're going to focus on this week, but it's hard to focus on losing a divisional game at home like that and having to go into an away building and, big game like that. I'm liking the Cardinals.
All right, then Sunday night we got the Bills at the Chiefs, and I don't know about you guys, but
it's a big one.
Bills look real good.
Hey,
what a treat! What a treat!
Ever since that shocking loss to the Steelers, they're on fire. I was saying it earlier. I'm worried about the Chiefs' defense, and I like the Bills' defense. I think and two great offenses is going to come down to who can get more stops, and I definitely favor the Bills there. So give me the Bills going on the road.
And then last
I never made my pick. But honestly, the Chiefs the past few weeks haven't shown me enough to make me think that they can even hang well, I don't want to say hang, but I think that they haven't done enough to show me how much they could compete against the elite teams of their conference. And, with Buffalo coming into town, this is their chance. But, it's hard to think that they can top them. I mean, this is such a good, 2 straight weeks of 40+ points for the Bills. Granted, one of them is against the Texans, but yeah, give me the Bills.
All right, and then last up,
Monday night.
Ravens Monday night. So
Easy
week
pick
for
for Baltimore.
You're going Baltimore.
Yeah.
I will also go Baltimore. Yep. I'm not a big Colts believer.
No, I'll make it interesting. I'll go Colts.
I think we should submit our picks, keep note of these, and compare. I
I
want to
jot mine
see.
down just to check.
I'm gonna watch the video, and I'll rewatch the tape and listen to myself ramble about how the Giants are gonna go into Dallas when a full touchdown underdog, and go in and beat the Cowboys just because.
All right, and I think then I'll end the stream there then.
I'll do
Good
it.
luck. Drive home safely.
All right, just ended.
Cool.
I gotta get going to bed, but